night shift at St. Agnes Hospital was a quiet descent into the unknown. I, Michael Thornton, had recently taken up the position of the hospital's night security guard. Little did I know that the tales of St. Agnes being haunted weren't just whispered rumors among the staff. My first encounter with the supernatural occurred during my third night on the job. The hospital, cloaked in shadows, seemed like a dormant giant. The distant hum of the aging machinery echoed through the dimly lit halls, creating an eerie symphony of creaks and moans. I wandered the empty corridors, the flickering lights casting unsettling shadows. As I passed the closed rooms on the abandoned ward, a sudden chill gripped the air. I dismissed it as a product of my overactive imagination until the distant sound of a child's laughter echoed through the silence. The hair on the back of my neck stood on end as I hesitated, listening intently to the playful giggles that seemed to dance just out of sight. My radio crackled to life, startling me. "Michael, are you there?" It was Sandra, the receptionist, her voice shaky. "Yeah, I'm here. What's up?" I replied, trying to sound more composed than I felt. "I keep hearing footsteps in the hallway near the old pediatrics ward. I thought you were supposed to be the only one here tonight." My heart skipped a beat. "I am. I'll check it out." The old pediatrics ward had been closed for years, a relic of a time when the hospital teemed with life. As I approached, the laughter grew louder, more distorted. The air became thick with an inexplicable sorrow, a tangible remnant of the pain and suffering that once filled these walls. Pushing the creaking door open, I entered a world frozen in time. Dust-covered cribs lined the room, and faded paintings of cartoon characters clung desperately to the peeling wallpaper. The laughter had transformed into sorrowful whispers that seemed to seep from the cracked walls. I cautiously moved deeper into the ward, my footsteps echoing off the cold linoleum floor. The whispers intensified, mourning the lost innocence of the children who had once called this place home. Shadows danced on the walls, distorted figures that flickered at the edges of my vision. In the center of the room, a forgotten music box lay dormant on a small table. As I approached, it sprang to life, the haunting melody echoing through the empty ward. The room pulsed with an otherworldly energy, and I felt the weight of unseen eyes upon me. A child's voice, soft and plaintive, called out from the darkness, "Help us, please." I staggered backward, my pulse racing. "Who's there?" The temperature dropped, and my breath formed visible clouds in the cold air. The atmosphere crackled with an unsettling energy. The shadows coalesced into ethereal forms, the apparitions of children long gone but forever bound to this place. Their spectral eyes pleaded with me, and I could feel their silent cries for release. As the music box continued its mournful tune, I sensed the anguish that lingered in every corner of the abandoned ward. Driven by an inexplicable compulsion, I vowed to help these trapped souls find peace. Armed with determination, I delved into the hospital's history, uncovering a dark chapter of negligence and tragedy. The pediatrics ward had been plagued by a series of unexplained deaths, the young patients succumbing to a mysterious illness. The hospital had hushed up the incidents, and the spirits of the children, denied justice and closure, remained trapped in a limbo between life and death. My mission became clear: to unravel the truth and free these tormented souls from their spectral chains. As I dug deeper, strange occurrences escalated. Doors slammed shut, lights flickered in erratic patterns, and disembodied whispers echoed through the empty hallways. The hospital seemed to resist my investigation, as if its long-buried secrets were not meant to be unearthed. One night, guided by the ethereal whispers, I discovered a hidden room deep within the hospital's basement. Inside, I found forgotten medical records detailing the true nature of the pediatric deaths. The children had been experimental subjects, victims of a clandestine project conducted by the hospital's administration. Fueled by outrage and empathy, I gathered evidence of the hospital's dark deeds. Armed with the truth, I confronted the lingering spirits in the pediatrics ward. As I exposed the injustices committed against them, the atmosphere shifted, and a serene calm enveloped the room. The children's apparitions began to fade, their anguished expressions replaced by gratitude. The music box played its final melancholic note, and the spectral energy that had gripped the hospital lifted. The abandoned ward, once a haunting ground for lost souls, was now silent. St. Agnes Hospital, though still haunted by its past, began to heal. The paranormal phenomena ceased, and the building's oppressive atmosphere lifted. I continued my role as the night security guard, forever changed by the spectral encounter that had compelled me to bring justice to the forgotten children of St. Agnes. The moon hung low in the inky sky, casting feeble light upon the dense forest below. A group of 5 friends, Jake, Emily, Ryan, Lisa, and Mark, gathered around a crackling campfire in the heart of the deserted woodland. The air was thick with an unsettling stillness, and the shadows played tricks among the towering trees. They had chosen this remote location for their camping adventure, seeking an escape from the hustle and bustle of city life. Little did they know that the desolation of the forest held secrets darker than the night that surrounded them. As the fire flickered, the friends laughed and shared stories, trying to shake off the growing unease that seemed to cling to the air. The distant hooting of an owl echoed through the trees, and a shiver ran down Emily's spine. She glanced at the forest's edge where the shadows seemed to gather, whispering untold tales of the past. Mark, the thrill-seeker of the group, suggested exploring deeper into the woods. "Come on, guys. Let's make this trip unforgettable," he exclaimed, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Reluctantly, the group agreed, armed with flashlights and a sense of trepidation. They ventured into the heart of the forest, the path narrowing as twisted branches reached out like skeletal fingers. The moon's glow struggled to penetrate the dense canopy, casting eerie silhouettes on the uneven ground. As they delved deeper, the atmosphere shifted. The friends exchanged nervous glances, their footsteps echoing in the hollow stillness. A distant rustling sent ripples of anxiety through the group, but they brushed it off as the natural sounds of the forest. They stumbled upon an ancient, dilapidated cabin hidden in the shadows. It stood as a relic of a time long forgotten, its windows shattered, and its wooden exterior worn by years of neglect. Mark, undeterred, pushed the creaking door open, revealing a pitch-black interior. The friends cautiously entered, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. The air inside was thick with an oppressive energy, and the walls seemed to absorb the feeble light. The cabin creaked and moaned, whispering secrets of the past to those willing to listen. In a corner, they discovered an old journal, its pages yellowed with age. As Emily flipped through it, the words spoke of a hermit who once lived in the woods, practicing dark rituals in exchange for an otherworldly power. The journal described strange occurrences, disappearances, and an unspoken horror that lurked in the heart of the forest. An unsettling silence settled over the group as they absorbed the grim tales. The wind outside howled through the trees, as if mourning the horrors of the past. Ryan, the skeptic, scoffed at the stories, dismissing them as mere superstitions. Ignoring the ominous warnings, they left the cabin behind, its secrets clinging to the air like an unseen mist. The path back to their campsite seemed different, as if the forest itself had rearranged its shadows to disorient them. Unnerved, they quickened their pace, the rustling behind them growing louder. As they stumbled back into the clearing, their campfire had dimmed to mere embers. The air was charged with an unnatural chill, and a feeling of being watched settled over them. The friends exchanged anxious glances, realizing the forest held secrets that defied rational explanation. A distant, mournful howl pierced the silence, freezing them in their tracks. The moon emerged from behind the clouds, revealing grotesque silhouettes surrounding the campsite. Figures hunched and twisted, moved in the darkness, their eyes reflecting an unnatural malevolence. Panic seized the group as they fumbled to relight the campfire. Shadows danced eerily around them, and the air resonated with spectral whispers. Emily caught a glimpse of a ghastly face in the darkness, its twisted features contorted in anguish. The forest came alive with unseen horrors. The friends, gripped by terror, realized they were not alone. The spectral figures closed in, and a cacophony of unearthly wails echoed through the haunted woods. The very fabric of reality seemed to unravel as the friends struggled to escape the grasp of the malevolent entities. In their desperate flight, they stumbled upon an ancient altar, surrounded by twisted roots and ominous symbols carved into the bark of gnarled trees. The friends hesitated, realizing they had entered a forbidden realm governed by forces beyond their comprehension. A guttural voice echoed through the air, resonating from the heart of the forest. "You have trespassed upon sacred ground. The pact must be fulfilled." As the words hung in the air, the friend found themselves paralyzed, ensnared by an invisible force. The shadows constricted around them, merging with the haunting figures that emerged from the darkness. The forest claimed them, absorbing their terrified screams into the silent night. The campfire extinguished, leaving only an eerie stillness in its wake. The moon resumed its watch over the deserted woodland, concealing the secrets that lingered within the ancient, haunted depths. The quiet suburban neighborhood of Willow Creek seemed like the epitome of tranquility. Yet behind the white picket fences and manicured lawns, darkness lurked. The Thompson family, blissfully unaware of the impending horror, settled into their cozy home. John Thompson, a dedicated father and husband, had just returned from work. His wife, Sarah, prepared dinner in the kitchen, and their two children, Emma and Tyler, played in the living room. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting elongated shadows that whispered tales of the impending nightmare. Unbeknownst to the Thompsons, a figure clad in black observed their every move from the shadows. James Harlow, a notorious serial killer, had chosen this unsuspecting family as his next victims. His deranged mind craved the thrill of preying on the innocence of a seemingly perfect household. As night fell, James donned a grotesque mask, a twisted representation of the malevolence that consumed him. Armed with a sinister determination, he approached the Thompsons' home under the cover of darkness. Inside, the family gathered for a peaceful dinner, laughter echoing through the walls. Little did they know that the harmonious atmosphere would soon shatter like fragile glass. James, a shadow among shadows, slipped into the backyard, avoiding the glow of streetlights. The first sign of intrusion came as a soft creak from the back door. John furrowed his brow, glancing at Sarah, who shared his concern. The children, sensing their parents' unease, paused mid-bite, their innocent eyes widening. Sarah whispered, "Did you hear that?" Before John could respond, the lights flickered and died, plunging the house into an abyss of darkness. The family sat in tense silence, their senses heightened. An ominous chill hung in the air as the masked figure moved stealthily through the house. In the pitch black, James reveled in the thrill of the hunt. He could almost taste the fear that permeated the once tranquil home. Creeping like a phantom, he entered the living room where the family huddled, their anxious breaths the only audible sound. A low growl emanated from the darkness, a guttural warning that sent shivers down their spines. Suddenly, the room was bathed in the sickly glow of a flickering candle. The masked figure stood before them, an embodiment of nightmares, his twisted grin visible through the grotesque mask. John, his protective instincts kicking in, positioned himself in front of his family. "Who are you? What do you want?" James chuckled, a sound devoid of humanity. "I'm the harbinger of chaos, the specter in your serene lives. And what I want, Mr. Thompson, is to revel in the terror that will consume your family." As the words hung in the air, dread settled over the Thompsons like a suffocating fog. The masked intruder circled them, the candlelight casting grotesque shadows on the walls. "Please, whatever you want, take it and leave us alone," Sarah pleaded, her voice trembling. James, indifferent to their pleas, reveled in the psychological torment. "Oh, I don't want anything material. I want to see the light extinguished from your eyes, to savor the taste of your fear." With that, he lunged at John with a gleaming blade, the cold steel reflecting the flickering candlelight. A frantic struggle ensued as the family fought for their lives. John, fueled by adrenaline, managed to wrestle the weapon away, plunging it into James's shoulder. Undeterred, the masked killer recoiled momentarily, his twisted laughter echoing through the house. Ah, the dance of survival begins. But you cannot escape the inevitable. In the chaos, Tyler managed to dart towards the front door, desperate to summon help. The night air greeted him with a chilling embrace as he stumbled onto the front porch. Panic clawed at his chest as he realized the depth of their peril. Meanwhile, the struggle inside continued. The house echoed with the sounds of clashing bodies and the desperate cries of a family fighting for their lives. Sarah, determined to protect her children, seized an opportunity to strike back. She grabbed a nearby vase, smashing it against James's masked face. Momentarily stunned, the masked intruder staggered, giving John an opening to wrestle him to the ground. In the dim light, they grappled for dominance, the family's collective will to survive driving them forward. Back on the porch, Tyler fumbled with his phone, dialing 911 with trembling fingers. Desperation fueled his plea for help as he relayed their address to the emergency dispatcher. The distant wails of sirens promised a glimmer of salvation. Inside the house, the struggle reached its peak. Sarah, her resolve unbroken, seized the fallen blade and thrust it into James's side. A guttural howl of pain pierced the air as he crumpled to the floor. As the wailing sirens drew nearer, the masked figure, now wounded and vanquished, slithered away into the shadows, leaving the Thompsons in a state of shock and anguish. The police arrived to find a traumatized family, their once idyllic home forever scarred by the memory of a nightmarish intrusion. The investigation that followed uncovered James Harlow's twisted motives and a trail of unspeakable horrors left in his wake. The Thompsons, forever changed by the ordeal, began the difficult journey of healing. The scars of that fateful night would linger, a haunting reminder of the thin veil that separates peace from unrelenting darkness. Nestled in the heart of rural America, the village of Ravenswood seemed untouched by the passage of time. Its charming houses with white picket fences and quaint gardens painted a picture of simplicity. Yet, as the sun dipped below the horizon, an eerie transformation unfolded in the shadows. Rumors had circulated for generations about strange occurrences in Ravenswood. Whispers of elusive creatures that emerged only under the cloak of night had woven themselves into the fabric of the villagers' lives. Most dismissed these tales as old wives' tales, stories passed down to entertain restless minds. However, as the night descended, the quaint village would be forced to confront the chilling truth that lurked in the darkness. It began with the moon casting an ethereal glow upon Ravenswood, transforming its familiar streets into winding paths of uncertainty. The air thickened with an unsettling stillness, and the villagers, though hesitant to admit it, felt a shared sense of trepidation as the first shadows emerged. One fateful night, as the villagers slept soundly in their beds, a low, guttural growl echoed through the silent streets. It resonated like a distant thunder, awakening a primal fear in the hearts of those who stirred in their sleep. The growl was followed by a chorus of haunting howls that pierced the night, sending shivers down the spines of the unsuspecting residents. The next morning, whispers of the night's disturbances circulated through Ravenswood like wildfire. A sense of foreboding hung in the air as the villagers gathered in hushed groups, exchanging wary glances and speculating about the source of the mysterious sounds. Days turned into weeks, and the nocturnal disturbances persisted. Fearful eyes scanned the darkness, attempting to catch a glimpse of the elusive creatures that had invaded their once tranquil village. Stories began to surface, tales of shadowy figures with gleaming eyes, moving with an unnatural grace through the moonlit streets. Concern turned into paranoia, and the villagers grew restless. Sleepless nights became the norm as the haunting howls persisted, closer and more menacing each time. The village, once a haven of peace, became ensnared in the clutches of an unrelenting terror that thrived in the darkness. Local authorities attempted to calm the growing hysteria, attributing the strange sounds to wild animals or merely figments of overactive imaginations. However, the villagers knew better. The creatures that haunted their nights were anything but ordinary. A group of intrepid young residents, fueled by curiosity and a desire to unveil the truth, decided to venture into the night. Armed with flashlights and a collective determination, they set out to explore the outskirts of Ravenswood as the moon cast an otherworldly glow upon their path. As the group ventured deeper into the rural landscape, the air grew colder and the silence more oppressive. The rhythmic crunch of their footsteps on the gravel road was the only sound that interrupted the stillness of the night. An eerie fog crept in, obscuring their vision and heightening the sense of isolation. Suddenly, the air became charged with an otherworldly energy, and the group found themselves surrounded by an ethereal glow. The moonlit clearing revealed the creatures they had only heard about in whispers and dreaded tales. Figures, shadowy and indistinct, moved with an unsettling fluidity. The young residents, frozen in a mixture of awe and terror, watched as the creatures turned their gleaming eyes toward them. The air hummed with an otherworldly resonance as the creatures communicated in an incomprehensible language that echoed through the moonlit night. With a sudden eerie unity, the creatures retreated into the shadows, leaving the group trembling in the clearing. The villagers returned to Ravenswood with a newfound knowledge that transcended the boundaries of the known world. The haunting howls continued, but now the villagers understood. The creatures were not malevolent. They were ancient guardians, protectors of a hidden realm that intersected with the village under the cover of darkness. The villagers, once paralyzed by fear, began to coexist with the enigmatic beings, acknowledging the delicate balance between their worlds. Ravenswood, forever changed by the encounter, became a village of dual existence, a place where the mundane daylight hours unfolded as usual, and the moonlit nights revealed the hidden dance between the villagers and the spectral guardians. The haunting howls that once terrified the residents now served as a reminder of the mysterious forces that bound their lives to a realm beyond their understanding. The small village in America, once a tranquil haven, now embraced the shadows and the creatures that emerged from the veil of night. As the moon cast its glow upon Ravenswood, the villagers moved with a newfound reverence, their lives forever intertwined with the enigmatic beings that guarded the secrets of the night.